Tori Roloff's twin baby birth. A story of joy, hope and family. Hello friends, welcome to my channel. I am Elena and I hope you are well. If you like the video, please subscribe the channel USA Dramatic Show and press the bell icon. The Roloff family has long been one of the most beloved families in reality television. With little people, big world chronicling their everyday lives, fans have followed their milestones, heartbreaks and triumphs for nearly 2 decades. And now, a brand new chapter has begun. A chapter that no one expected to come in such a beautiful and miraculous way. Tori Roloff and her husband Zach Roloff welcomed twin babies into the world. And the news has filled the Roloff household and indeed their fan community with overwhelming joy. For Zach, who has always dreamed of being a father surrounded by children, the arrival of twins felt like a gift that was far beyond anything he could have imagined. This is the story of that journey. The days leading up to the birth, the emotional delivery, and the happiness that swept through the Roloff farm as everyone gathered to meet the newest members of their growing family. For months, speculation buzzed around Tori and Zach. Fans had noticed Tori's glowing appearance in family photos and subtle hints she left in her social media captions. Rumors of a pregnancy announcement started surfacing, but nobody guessed the true surprise waiting behind closed doors. In a cozy Oregon home not far from the iconic Roloff farms, Tori and Zach sat together one evening. The warm glow of the fireplace danced across their faces as they held hands, reflecting on how far they had come as a couple. Parenthood had already blessed them with beautiful children, but there was a longing in both their hearts for more. Tori whispered almost nervously, "Zach, what if we're not just expecting one this time?" Zach chuckled at first, shaking his head. "Twins don't really run in our family, Tor. You're just dreaming too big." But in her heart, Tori had a feeling. She couldn't explain why, but she sensed something different about this pregnancy. Weeks later, their suspicions were confirmed. At the ultrasound appointment, the doctor smiled warmly and turned the screen toward them. "Congratulations, you two," the doctor said. "There are 2 heartbeats. You're having twins." The room fell silent for a moment. Zach's jaw dropped in disbelief and then, unable to contain himself, he burst out laughing with pure happiness. Tears welled in Tori's eyes. It was true. Their family was about to grow by not 1 but 2 new lives. The news spread quickly among the Roloff family. Amy Roloff, the proud grandmother, was one of the first to know. She nearly dropped the phone when Tori shared the words, "We're having twins." "Oh my goodness, Tori," Amy gasped. "Do you realize how incredible this is? You're going to be such a strong mama, and Zach? Well, I hope you're ready for double diaper duty." Matt Roloff also received the news with enthusiasm, though his reaction carried a different kind of reflection. As the patriarch of the family, he had always envisioned the farm filled with grandchildren running around, carrying the Roloff legacy forward. Now, with twins on the way, his dream seemed even more alive. Preparations began almost immediately. Zach and Tori converted a room into a twin nursery, carefully selecting matching cribs, soft pastel colors and tiny clothes. They laughed together while folding onesies, marveling at how small everything looked. Zach often paused, holding a pair of baby socks in his hands, whispering, "I still can't believe we're going to meet them soon. 2 little ones, Tor. 2. Every evening they talked about names, futures and how their family dynamic would change. Would their older children adjust easily? Would the twins be identical or fraternal? So many questions floated around their minds. But underneath it all was excitement that grew stronger every day. As word spread to fans and the Little People Big World community, messages of love and support poured in. Social media lit up with congratulations, prayers and joy. "Double the babies, double the blessings," one fan wrote. "Zach is going to be the happiest dad ever. He was made for this," another added. Tori, who often shared her life openly, decided to keep much of this pregnancy private. Unlike her previous pregnancies, she wanted to savor these moments with Zach and her children before sharing too much publicly. Still, the Roloff audience could sense the growing anticipation, and excitement built like a rising tide. The final weeks of pregnancy were a mixture of exhaustion and eager waiting for Tori. Carrying twins was no small task. There were days when even walking across the living room felt like a marathon. Zach did his best to be supportive, stepping into every role he could, cooking meals, managing household chores and making sure Tori had time to rest. Their children kissed Tori's belly daily, whispering to their unborn siblings, "We can't wait to meet you." On one late spring evening as the sun dipped behind the fields, Zach looked at Tori and smiled. Do you realize we could be parents of twins any day now? Our lives are about to change forever. Tori, with a hand resting on her round belly, nodded. I know. And I'm ready. More than ready. The call came early one morning. Tori's contractions had begun and there was no mistaking it. The twins were on their way. Zach's heart pounded with adrenaline as he grabbed the hospital bags, bundled Tori into the car and headed toward the hospital. The delivery room was filled with both tension and excitement. Nurses and doctors moved with precision, preparing for the special care required when twins were born. Zach stayed by Tori's side, holding her hand tightly, whispering words of encouragement. After hours that felt like an eternity, the first cry rang out, a healthy, strong baby's voice that filled the room. Tears streamed down Zach's face as he saw the tiny infant placed in Tori's arms. Moments later, another cry followed. The second twin had arrived, just as perfect, just as miraculous. Zach kissed Tori's forehead, his voice breaking as he whispered, You did it, Tor. You brought them both into this world. I'm so proud of you. For Zach, the moment was indescribable. He had always loved being a father, but seeing two newborns, two lives he would help guide and love, was overwhelming. He held each baby in turn, marveling at their tiny fingers, their delicate features, their steady breaths. They're perfect, he kept repeating as if the words were the only ones he could summon. Tori watched him, exhausted but glowing as her husband cradled their twins with awe in his eyes. You're the happiest I've ever seen you, she whispered. And she was right. Zach's joy overflowed, reaching beyond the hospital walls, touching every member of the Roloff family, and rippling out to fans everywhere who were waiting to hear the news. The moment the twins were born, Zach and Tori felt an immediate desire to share the joy with their family. Within hours, Amy Roloff arrived at the hospital, her eyes shimmering with anticipation. The proud grandmother had always embraced her role, but this was different. 2 new grandchildren at once. As she walked into the room, she gasped softly, covering her mouth with trembling hands. Oh my goodness, look at them. 2 perfect little angels. Tori, exhausted but glowing, gently handed one of the twins to Amy. The baby yawned, tiny fists curling in the air. Amy's tears fell freely as she rocked the child in her arms. Zach watched, heart swelling, as his mother whispered, You have no idea how much joy you've brought into this family. Matt Roloff came later, his entrance quieter but filled with equal pride. He leaned over the bassinets, studying the twins with a deep sense of legacy. This is what it's all about, he said almost to himself. Family, generations, the Roloff name carried forward. Though his relationship with his children had faced ups and downs over the years, this moment softened him. For Matt, seeing 2 new lives reminded him that life kept moving forward no matter the struggles of the past. Back home, the older Roloff children eagerly awaited the twins' arrival. When Zach and Tori finally brought the babies home, the house buzzed with energy. Their older son rushed to the door shouting, Are they here? Can I hold them? With careful guidance, Zach helped him cradle one twin while Tori settled the other into her daughter's lap. The children giggled at the baby's tiny features, their awe evident. They're so small, one whispered. But they're ours, Zach replied with pride. You're big siblings now. That's an important job. The siblings took their new roles seriously, offering to fetch bottles, diapers, and blankets. Though the house quickly became noisier and busier, it was filled with a deeper kind of love than ever before. The Roloff farm, always a centerpiece of family life, seemed to glow with new energy after the twins' arrival. Amy decorated her farmhouse with balloons and banners, hosting a small welcome party for close family members. The twins were passed from arm to arm as relatives and cousins cooed over them. Every corner of the farm echoed with laughter, conversations about who the babies resembled most, and plans for future birthdays and holidays. For Zach, growing up on the farm had shaped his identity. Now he imagined his twins toddling through the pumpkin patch, playing hide-and-seek in the barns, and learning the values of hard work and family that defined the Roloffs for generations. It feels right, Zach said one afternoon as he stood with Tori, watching the sunset over the fields while the twins slept peacefully inside. This is where they belong. This is where they'll grow up. Though joy overflowed, reality soon set in. Raising twins was no easy feat. Sleepless nights multiplied, and Zach and Tori often found themselves awake at odd hours, taking turns feeding, rocking, and soothing the babies. There were moments of exhaustion so deep that Tori felt like she couldn't keep going. But every time she looked into her baby's eyes, her heart filled with renewed strength. Zach stepped up in ways that surprised even Tori. He changed diapers with efficiency, managed late-night bottle duty, and kept the household running when Tori needed to rest. "Teamwork," he often said. "That's how we're going to do this." Despite the challenges, their bond grew stronger. The twins became the center of their world, and every sleepless night was worth the joy of watching them thrive. When Zach and Tori officially announced the twins' birth to the public, the internet exploded with excitement. Their Instagram posts were flooded with comments. "Congratulations, Roloffs. We've followed your journey from the beginning. What a beautiful blessing. Double the love, double the fun. Tori, you are amazing." Fans of Little People Big World felt like extended family members. Many had watched Zach grow up on screen, and now seeing him cradle his newborn twins felt like witnessing history in the making. Media outlets quickly picked up the story, publishing headlines that celebrated the Roloff family's newest chapter. For weeks, the twins were the center of attention, sparking articles, interviews, and endless admiration. Zach often found himself staring at his children in quiet moments, overwhelmed by gratitude. For a man who sometimes doubted his own abilities, fatherhood gave him purpose. Late one night as he rocked one twin to sleep, he whispered, "I promise I'll be the best dad I can be. You'll always know you're loved." Tori, listening from the doorway, wiped away a tear. She knew Zach was not just happy, he was transformed. His pride and joy radiated in everything he did, whether it was building a crib, singing lullabies, or simply sitting quietly with a baby asleep on his chest. The Roloffs began to dream about what life with twins would look like in the years ahead. Zach pictured coaching them in sports, teaching them about the farm, and watching them grow alongside their siblings. Tori imagined school days, birthday parties, and the joy of watching her children form unbreakable bonds with each other. The twins' arrival also reignited conversations about the family legacy. With so many grandchildren, Amy and Matt reflected on how their children had created lives of their own, each filled with love and resilience. "Family is everything," Amy often said. And in the case of the Roloffs, it was truer than ever. Beyond the immediate family, the twins' birth carried symbolic weight for fans and viewers. Over the years, the Roloffs had shared their struggles: divorces, disagreements, health challenges, and growing pains. Now the birth of twins felt like a turning point, a reminder that joy always followed hardship. It was a story of resilience, love, and the unshakable bond of family. Fans connected deeply with this message. Many wrote letters to Zach and Tori, thanking them for sharing their lives and showing that even through challenges, blessings could shine through. As weeks turned into months, Zach and Tori settled into a rhythm. The chaos of twin life became familiar, the late nights manageable, and the laughter louder than ever. They documented milestones, the twins' first smiles, their first time rolling over, and the endless expressions that melted hearts daily. For Zach, the journey had only just begun. But as he looked at his wife and their children gathered around the table one evening, he realized he had everything he had ever wanted. "This is it," he said softly, almost in awe. "This is my dream come true." Tori reached for his hand, smiling. And it's only the beginning. The story of Tori Roloff's twin birth is not just about babies. It's about family, perseverance, and the unshakable joy that comes when love multiplies. Zach's happiness shines brighter than ever, a reflection of the blessings he and Tori now hold in their arms. For the Roloffs, this new chapter is only beginning. And for fans around the world, watching the family grow feels like being part of something much bigger. A story of love that continues to inspire. Tori reflects on motherhood and her journey. Zach embraces his new role as a father of twins. The Roloff family celebrates milestones together. The fan community and Little People Big World legacy are highlighted. A hopeful message about the future of the R. The house was still, bathed in the pale light of dawn. Outside, Oregon's countryside stretched endlessly, a mixture of rolling hills and early morning fog. Inside, the gentle sounds of newborn breathing filled the air. Tori sat in the rocking chair in the nursery, holding one of her twins while the other slept peacefully in the crib beside her. She looked down at the baby's face, marveling at the tiny perfection. Her heart swelled with emotions she could hardly put into words. Motherhood was never easy, but in these quiet moments, it felt like the most sacred gift she had ever been given. Zach entered the room carrying a warm cup of coffee. His eyes were tired, yet there was a spark in them, a joy that hadn't dimmed since the day the twins were born. "Another early morning?" he whispered, setting the mug on the side table. Tori smiled softly. "They didn't want to sleep much. But that's okay. I don't mind. Look at this little face. How could I mind?" Zach leaned down, kissing the baby's forehead gently. "We're blessed, Tor. More blessed than I ever imagined." Over the weeks, Tori often found herself reflecting on her journey. She remembered the nervousness of her first pregnancy, the challenges, the joy, and the growth that came with each child. But this experience with twins felt different. She kept a journal, writing late at night when the babies finally drifted to sleep. Motherhood isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up every day even when you're tired, even when you don't know what you're doing. It's about love. The kind that doesn't run out, the kind that grows with every heartbeat. "These twins have taught me that love multiplies, it doesn't divide." Her words carried both vulnerability and strength. She wanted her children to one day look back and see the truth of her heart, that their mother loved them fiercely even in the hardest moments. Zach too carried his reflections. Growing up on Roloff farms, he had always wondered what kind of father he would be. He remembered watching his parents, noticing their strengths and flaws, and quietly building an image of the father he wanted to become. Now holding his twins, he knew. One evening as he cradled them both, one in each arm, he whispered a promise. "I may not be perfect, but I'll always be here. I'll teach you, guide you, and protect you. You'll always know you're loved. That's my promise as your dad." Tori, standing in the doorway, felt tears sting her eyes. In Zach's voice she heard not just happiness but conviction. He wasn't just a father, he was their rock. As the months passed, the Roloff family came together for milestones both big and small. Amy hosted a family dinner, filling her farmhouse with warmth and laughter. The long wooden table was covered in homemade dishes, and at the center sat the twins in their carriers, drawing endless attention. Jeremy and Audrey came with their children, who were fascinated by their baby cousins. "They're so tiny," one exclaimed, poking gently at a little hand. Zach smiled proudly, watching his children surrounded by cousins, grandparents, and love. For a moment he felt the weight of legacy. This was more than just his family. It was the continuation of everything the Roloffs had built. Even Matt, often more reserved, took turns holding the babies. "They've got strong grips," he remarked, his face softening as one of the twins clasped his finger tightly. "Strong Roloff hands." It was moments like these that reminded everyone that, despite disagreements and differences, family remained the heart of it all. The birth of the twins had not only touched the family but also the larger community of fans who had followed Little People, Big World for years. Online forums buzzed with excitement, with fans sharing photos, clips, and heartfelt messages. Many viewers expressed how the Roloff family had inspired them through struggles of their own. Infertility, parenting challenges, or balancing family relationships. "Watching Zach and Tori gives me hope," one fan wrote. "They show that love and perseverance can overcome anything." Media outlets continued to cover the story, framing the twins' birth as a heartwarming chapter in the Roloff legacy. For longtime fans, it felt like watching a favorite storybook unfold in real time. Yet life wasn't always picture perfect. The sleepless nights continued, and there were days when exhaustion weighed heavily on both Zach and Tori. One evening, after hours of trying to soothe a crying baby, Tori collapsed on the couch, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know if I can do this," she admitted. "I feel like I'm failing." Zach sat beside her, placing a hand on hers. "You're not failing, Tor. Look at them, they're safe, they're loved, and that's because of you. We're in this together. We'll figure it out." Those words reminded Tori that parenthood wasn't about perfection. It was about partnership. And together they found strength to keep going even in the hardest moments. As the twins grew, so did the dreams Zach and Tori had for them. They imagined first days of school, family vacations, birthdays filled with laughter, and eventually watching them carve their own paths. Zach often envisioned the farm in those dreams. He pictured the twins running through the pumpkin patch, climbing hay bales, and learning about the land that had defined so much of his life. "Maybe one day they'll take over the farm," he mused aloud one evening. Tori smiled. Maybe. Or maybe they'll find their own dreams. Whatever they choose, we'll be there to cheer them on. The future was unwritten, but it was bright. The story of Tori and Zach's twins became more than just a personal milestone. It became part of the Roloff legacy. It symbolized continuity, resilience, and the unshakable truth that family remained the core of everything. Through ups and downs, heartbreaks and triumphs, the Roloffs had always found their way back to love. For Zach, his happiness wasn't just about the twins. It was about the family they had built together, the memories they were creating, and the love that bound them all. "This is our legacy," he said one evening, looking at his children gathered around him. "Not fame, not the show, not even the farm. Our legacy is love." As months turned into years, the chaos of newborn life slowly gave way to the rhythms of family living. The twins grew stronger, their personalities shining through. The Roloff home remained filled with laughter, challenges, and love. For Tori, motherhood had given her strength she never knew she had. For Zach, fatherhood had filled him with a joy so deep it defined his very being. The twins weren't just babies, they were miracles. A reminder that blessings often came in ways no one expected. Standing together one evening, holding hands as their children played around them, Zach turned to Tori with a smile. Tori leaned against him, her heart full. "This is our happily ever after." And in that moment, with their family complete and their future stretching endlessly ahead, the Roloffs knew that the best chapters of their story were only just beginning. The ending of Tori Roloff's twin birth story is not an ending at all. It's a beginning. A beginning filled with hope, joy, and the unshakable strength of family.